Part 3. Anywhere a Mouse Can Go, Beyond the Task, Towards a Philosophy. Presented by Jean Hanks.
Okay.
The first slide presented is of a set of stairs with a flat ramp cutting through the steps.
When we talk about access in the physical environment, we often see buildings, especially buildings that were built 25, 50, 100 years ago, we find stairs as the way to access the first floor. And we've all seen ramps that have been built so that people who can't use stairs or choose not to use stairs have access into the building. I'm using this tag, a mouse can go up, because I think of access as the prepositional phrases. And I was taught prepositional phrases are anywhere a mouse can go. You know that? You're the first person who has heard that explanation, yeah? I used to diagram sentences, and it's a really good way to improve your writing, but a mouse can go up. So anywhere a mouse can go between, behind, through, under. Mouse can go after, before. And all these things are actions in an interactive environment. So a little mouse can go up these stairs because this would be too high for a little mouse, but run up here. But I also like to think of it as we are very used to pointing devices, a mouse, on our screen devices, or even pointing with our finger. So anywhere a mouse can go is where anyone without access to their to their arms, access to visual, to know where to point, we have to make things that they have to go anywhere a mouse can go as well. So this is a really interesting solution to this, because instead of having a separate ramp that segregates a population away from the others that are using the stairs, everyone can be in one place at the same time and have the same experience. So the same view, the same positioning in the architecture. You're not farther away from the door. You don't have to go around anything, and you're not separated from people who are using the stairs traditionally. This is always going to be the better solution. It's not always the possible solution, but this is where you want to start when you're thinking about accessibility, so that everyone has the same experience. Now, your example, again, you have to have two different environments sometimes, but thinking from the start, how can I make the experience no different from the start? Saves you work, because you're not maintaining two different versions, and you're not giving people two different entrances. So one of the nice things about this is that everybody's together. So I have somebody in my family who is mobile in a wheelchair. I'm walking up the steps at the same time as they are. We're not sending the family member around and then meeting them at the top.
The next slide is of a diagram titled Universal Design, showing different icons of people with disabilities: an elder, a male person, a young mother with stroller, a blind person, a pregnant woman, a wheelchair, a parent with child.
So universal design is my preferred way to talk about accessibility. Universal design says you start giving everyone the same experience. I wanted to include and do a citation of this designer because I really like this graphic. You see she's done some really nice, here I brought my Apple Pencil just for this. She's done some really nice icons here of people with different sets of mobility solutions. So mobile in a wheelchair. But this is my favorite.
Jean circles the mother and stroller.
This is something you don't often see in icons of people who have mobility differences. A caregiver with a young child in a stroller. So I debated whether or not I talk about the 1-year-old that I help care for as the most disabled person I know. I think that's too flip. But however, at this point in her life, she has all kinds of limitations. Sizes of chairs, sizes of steps, her stamina, what she can tell me about what she needs. The environment she needs to have different environments for several more years. And I, as a caregiver, purposely look for stroller accessible sidewalks. In the neighborhood where she lives, half of the curbs are slanted, which is called a curb cut, and half of them are old, never been resurfaced in 40 years. So I actually have a little zigzag route that I've memorized to the local library so that we can go smoothly in the stroller the whole way. Here's another one that I didn't really give a lot of thought to.
Jean circles the male person.
Here's what I believe is supposed to be a person who is a mail carrier or a person who delivers packages. I look at, we get 3 deliveries a day now from US Mail, from FedEx, from UPS, and all these people have to access the property. They have a disability, not in the same vocabulary we use for disability now. What this graphic doesn't do, though, what is missing here? Invisible disability. You can't draw an icon of a person with an invisible disability. So we have things for hearing loss, like a sound thing with a slash over the ear, or we have, for eye slash over for people who have blind or low vision. But you can't draw a picture of a person. You could, but in this row, there's none of that is there. And there are no cognitive disabilities represented. So we don't have any people with dyslexia. We don't have any people with anxiety. We don't have any people who have aphasia. Aphasia is inability to retrieve usually nouns. So we have a lot of environments now where the solution is, spoken commands. Now we can skip over having a Braille interface or having any kind of a point and choose system by using voice commands. But what if I stutter? What if I have aphasia? If I stutter, I can probably train my voice recognition system. If I have a personal one that I have with me all the time, I can probably train it to recognize my stutter. But what if I have aphasia? And I'm not making fun of anyone because I actually have slight aphasia. It's like, Alexa, please turn on the peanut butter. We don't have an interface for that. That is inclusive of this smart home technology that we're trying now to make ubiquitous everywhere. So universal design does tend to focus on the built environment, and so the icons here are representing physical interactions. But when we're watching something visually, our interaction is primarily cognitive. And we have cognitive and cultural issues around that we have to think of as well. And I think you guys have started thinking about that.
The slide shows a comic panel titled "Clearing a Path for People with Special Needs Clears the Path for Everyone." The inside depicts school children arriving to school, one in a wheelchair. A man is shoveling the stairs. The child in the wheelchair asks, "Could you shovel this ramp?" The man replies, "All these kids are waiting to use the stairs. When I get through shoveling them off, I will then clear the ramp for you." "But if you shovel the ramp, we can all get in," states the child.
So again, 2 solutions. This is what my mentor and partner, Professor Neil Shepard, uses a lot in his presentations because it really encapsulates why you should try not to have more than one solution. probably beating this to death, but I also would like to have several examples for you to use with other people who may need some convincing. And so really simply, school employee is trying to shovel the steps as quickly as he can so that people can get into the school, and the person who is mobile in a wheelchair says, could you please shovel the ramp? If you shovel that, then we can all get in at the same time.
Next part, Part 4, Affordance, Norman Doors. Credits, Videography, Ashley Kalin. Audio capture, Mike Dollar. Editing, Mallory Hygas. Narrator, Ian Middleton.